What's up, guys? So you know what? I'm not even gonna touch it. So this is a match versus Celestial Light, which this deck, it's kind of gaining. The deck tries to gain a bunch of life and win the game that way, but gaining life is usually not a very good strategy to try to win a game. It's like the difference between playing to win and playing to not lose, you know. And Celestial Light just kind of plays to not lose, so it's not as much a matter of am I going to be able to beat him, it's more can I beat him in time before I don't beat him type of deal. So it's very weird. Unfortunately, Goblins likes to suicide themselves into getting as much damage in as possible before they run out of stuff to do. And so gaining a bunch of life counteracts that, and making the game take longer and longer and longer doesn't play in Goblins' favor. So it's going to be a tough game, but I feel like I should have the upper hand. I got 3 creatures on the board right now, so I'll at least have some sort of position, and we're going to start getting in as much damage as possible, and that's really all I'm looking for, just as much damage as fast as I can, and hope that he doesn't get something sweet that I'm not going to be able to overcome. So he does play a Soul Warden, which every time a creature comes into play, he gains a life. That's what that creature does. So it's just going to sit there and gain life every time I play a dude, which is really freaking annoying, but that's part of how it works. So at least I know he's not going to block. He's just going to take the 3 points instead, because he cares more about gaining a couple points of life than anything else. So he's going to take that. I'll cast another guy. And since he's got Battle Cry, having multiple dudes on the field is starting to really benefit me. So right now things are looking pretty good, and we're just gonna have to see where they go from there. Yeah, sorry, I already narrated over this once, and somehow the audio didn't save, and so I uploaded it, and 20 people were like, dude, WTF, crap. So now I'm doing it again, and doing this a second time, I'm gonna have empty space. So he plays a creature with First Strike and Lifelink, which is really bad, because it means I can't get through it at all. But thankfully, I've got Squee in my hand, and Squee is awesome, because you cannot get rid of Squee. Squee will keep coming back forever and ever and ever, because Squee is just that awesome. One of these days, I'm gonna have to zoom in on him and read his flavor text, because Magic cards, if you Google for any card real quick, like they'll have the ability and stuff like that and what it does, and then some cards will have a little bit of extra text behind or underneath it in italics that's just there for flavor and story, and you know, sometimes they crack little jokes. Goblin cards like to crack little jokes and make you laugh, and Squeeze is just funny. They're all funny. So I sacrifice Squee to kill the thing, so I can, or kill the First Striker, obviously, so I can get in as much damage as possible, because that's what I need to do. And then he plays that creature, which forms a really, really powerful combo with Soul Warden. Because whenever he gains life, that creature he just cast will get +1/+1 permanently. And obviously every time a creature comes into play, he's going to gain a life. Thus, every time a creature comes into play, that guy's going to get fatter. So I need to figure out a way to kill it. Awesomely, I draw an Ember Hauler, which I'm looking at it, and you sacrifice Ember Hauler's ability. See, I already don't like post narration, because now I can't zoom in on cards when I want to talk about them. You sacrifice Ember Hauler to deal 2 damage to something, but he's going to get bigger when I cast Ember Hauler, so I need him to block one of my creatures so that he'll take 2 points of damage from blocking it, and then I'll actually be able to finish it off by sacrificing Ember Hauler. If I were to just cast Ember Hauler first, he wouldn't block, and then it would get really fat, and then I'd be in trouble. So I have to do it this way. That's just the way it's got to go. So there you go. Very briefly, it was up there, but it was up there. Sack it, and boom, and now it's gone. So I had to lose a creature for it, technically 2 creatures, but the thing needs to go. So he's still only on 3 lands, so he's a little screwed in that regard, but he just sacrificed that random elixir that he casted on the first turn. All that elixir does is it gains a few points of life, and then it puts all of the cards in his graveyard back in his library and shuffles it up. So and then he makes a really stupid play and uses Swords to Plowshares, which is one of the best cards ever made. It removes one of my creatures from the game, like not into the graveyard, just from the game. which he casted it on a very weak creature, so that's really stupid. You're supposed to cast it on Squee, because there's Squee again. He's already died once, and now he's back. The red goblin rises. I mean, he's not quite Batman or a Dark Knight, but, you know, he's back. So, not only was it a waste of the Swords to Plowshares, if he was going to do that play, he should have done it first and then use the elixir so that the swords would go back into his deck, and he could potentially get it again. But he didn't, so, you know, whatever. But then, yeah, if you could have heard me right there, groaning in real life, he casts Day of Judgment, which destroys all creatures. So now the board is wiped, and there goes my chance of finishing him off very quickly. I certainly had board position. He had played all of his best cards that he could. He felt threatened enough that he needed to sacrifice the elixir. Now, like, you always know when somebody, like, they feel like they're getting out of options when they do something that they can do at any time. Like, he could sacrifice the elixir when he's at 1 life, or he could sacrifice it when he's at 20 life. But the fact that he did it then tells me that he feels like he was on the ropes. So that Day of Judgment totally just saved his bacon. And he casts another one of those first strike lifelinkers. So it's like, ugh. So even if I get a bunch of forces out here, that guy's going to be extremely difficult to get through, and he's going to be gaining life with it constantly. So I'm back behind the 8 ball now, even though I've been dominating the whole game. And then there's just a random fodder creature, not a big deal. So it's just, this is what the stupid deck does. So I just gotta find ways around it. So I'm gonna just keep casting as many creatures as I can, because that's what goblins do. But at least now, that Reckless one, he gets stronger the more goblins that are in play. So now that I've got a bunch in play, I'm not going to die from the first striker. I'm able to come in. So as long as nothing happens to that guy, I can at least attack with him only every turn and finally get somewhere. Eventually, in theory. We'll see how long that holds up, eh? Obviously, we're only halfway through the video, so, you know, spoilers, but... Excuse me, frog in my throat. Alright, so he's swinging. And I got a couple of options here. I could take... I don't care about taking the 2 points of damage, but I care about killing that thing. So I could either take the 2 points of damage and then swing in with everything next turn and get a lot more damage in, which is probably the better play. But I figure, you know, he's making the mistake of attacking, or at least I think it's a mistake. Maybe it's not. That's debatable, really. So I'm going to take the advantage and block with everything, so that I can kill it. Plus, because I have Squee on the board, Squee's gonna die. Maybe not. Maybe he will? Probably not. It depends on who he blocks. Okay, no, he doesn't block Squee. Or doesn't deal damage to Squee. So I figured if he did kill Squee, Squee would come back. So it, you know, gave him the chance for a misplay. But I end up costing myself a lot of damage by doing that. Because the creature he killed would have been responsible for 7 points this turn by himself, and him existing on the field would make my creature in the middle stronger, so I could have dealt an extra 8 points of damage that turn if I took the 2 points instead, which again, I don't care about him hurting me, I just need to get there myself. So I feel like it probably was a misplay. I'm not sure, only because he casts another Day of Judgment. So my guess is he was just attacking with the creature so that he could gain 2 life, assuming that I wouldn't block with anything, and then he would kill all the creatures anyway so I get no damage in. That's what I think. So unless he just drew it that turn, my mistake ended up being better in the end, in a weird way. So, whatever. But Squee comes back because Squee is freaking awesome. I think, is that the 3rd time or the 4th time I've casted him? I don't know. But that's why you needed to cast Swords to Plowshares on him to remove him from the game, because Squee's going to keep coming back. So, I'm out of cards now, which is not good. Magic is all about card advantage, and with no hand, I am completely spent. And then he casts another one of those first strike lifelinker guys. I know there's only 2 in the deck that the game gives him, and that's the 3rd one he's casted, which means that the first one that died, when he used that elixir and put his graveyard back in his library, he drew it again. So it's just, oh my god, I don't know how he got it twice. And then got the other one in his deck to play all 3 of them. It's just mind-boggling. And now he's starting to get all of his other really powerful cards. He got both of his Day of Judgments. That Warhammer thing he just casted off on the top left of the screen, it gives a creature trample +3 and lifelink, so he's going to deal a bunch of damage and gain a bunch of life with it. But then I got a little bit of luck of my own. I drew the perfect freaking card. The ringleader guy on the left, again, I wish I could zoom in on him now, and I can't. As you saw, a bunch of cards just went flying through the air. Because what he does is he looks at the top 4 cards of my library. All of the goblins go into my hand. All the non-goblins get put on the bottom. So you saw 2 land go away, which is totally fine because I have more than enough. And it gave 2 goblins in my hand, which not only is that perfect, because it helps give me some card advantage, get me some extra forces, but then I drew another perfect card with the Gem Palm. So this is going to allow me to cycle as an instant to kill his creature after he pays the mana to equip it, which is so freaking amazing. Because if that thing were to be equipped, I would lose the game on the spot. First strike, trample, and lifelink, I would be dead. I would have no chance to kill it, period. And he would just gain way too much life and it would be over. So that ringleader going into Gem Palm saved my life completely. And then I get a Siege Gang Commander, which is another completely amazing draw. So ringleader is doing work by shuffling all those cards away. Like I would have still drawn these creatures, but it would have taken an extra 2 or 3 turns to get there, and by that point it probably would have been too late. So that's why he really saved the day. Card advantage. It's all what the game's about. And so now I'm just thinking on how much damage can I really afford to get through. What can I really be doing? See if I can kill that creature. Because he's not going to want to block. He values his creature's life more than I value, he values his creature's life more than that. So I know he's going to take the damage, which is exactly what I need. Again, now I'm starting to make some progress there, and I don't know how, but I've managed to get back into the driver's seat, and the game is looking just about in the bag. He had nothing left in his hand, and there's not too much he can do. But oh look! He draws another ridiculous card. And what that thing does, I didn't zoom in on it because I was freaking upset about it. Anytime that creature hits me, his life total is going to double. Unbelievable! Yeah, there's me complaining again. And because it's got trample, it's going to deal damage, which is really frustrating. So, and of course, because it's going to deal damage, he's going to gain life, and that's the creature that gets bigger when he gains life. So he's going to kill my creatures, gain a bunch of life, get bigger, and then his life is going to double. So I decide that I've got the board position. If I block with everything that I have, and then use Siege Gang Commander's ability to deal extra damage to that creature, I'll be able to kill the creature. He's still going to gain a ton of life, but I will limit him to just 1 turn of that benefit. And hopefully it will give me a chance, because otherwise he's going to gain 1,000,000 freaking hit points, and I'm not going to be able to kill him in 1 turn. And then it's just going to get worse and worse and worse after that. So another risky, suicidal kamakazi play by Goblins, but that's how they have to operate. So I did my best, and I have no regrets. Somebody in Gen 1 said that. I don't remember who. So again, we've killed his creature, wiped his board. Squee comes back, which is another reason I decided to be good to block with everything, because he's going to keep giving me card advantage. The game is lagging out right now. I'm trying to freaking cast Squee, and it's not letting me. Because you'll notice he didn't gain life, so it's busy trying to figure out how much life he's supposed to gain. And he goes from 7 up to, I can't actually read that, 16 or 18, I forget. But that's more than double, which seems a little strange to me, so I'm not exactly sure how all that worked out. I don't know if he deals the damage to gain the life first and then it doubles, or if it all resolves at the same time. I guess it, you know, whatever. Just complexities of Magic. But he's got no board. I've got lots of dudes still. So I'm going to make some more progress over here. Put more chinks in the armor. He's cleaned the board twice. This is way longer than any Goblin deck is supposed to be alive for. I don't know how much life he's gained. He's probably gained at least 20 life. And then boom. A Bushwhacker with Kicker. Everything gets stronger. Everything has haste. I'll be able to kill him this turn after all of that garbage. All of those shenanigans. He got some awesome cards. And and I got some really good cards when I needed it too. That Ringleader was clutch. Drawing Gem Palm was perfect. So we both got what we needed. But I'm gonna come out on top somehow. So thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Catch you later. Peace. Whew. That game was nuts.